Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of RiffJaw. And hey, you know what's great? It's like spring outside now. Today I got some cool segments lined up for you guys. I'm thinking we're gonna do an opinion piece about how to sound unique and what that means, and not trying to chase after other people's tone or how they sound, whether that's vocals, whether that's drums, guitar, instrumentals, even if you're doing speeches, whatever that might be. I'll get into that. The other two things we're going over is how to record drums in a dorm room setting. That's something that I have kind of struggled with myself, and I feel like it'd be interesting for people to know how to record drums in a time and place where things just aren't as easy to be loud. So the other thing we're going to cover, and the final thing we're going to cover, is how to play and record guitar without using an amplifier, sticking to the theme of how to record and play without having to be so loud that you're making your parents' ears bleed, or whoever you happen to be living with. So without further ado, let's try to forget that it's the muddy, gross part of spring right now, and instead enjoy this episode of RiffJaw. Alright, so I want to step back for just a moment to kind of where I came from a little bit, if that's something I can even say as of right now. But you know, we all are at that point at some point in our lives where we're like, all right, I have absolutely no gear. I have my guitar. I don't even have an amp yet. What do I do? You know, or you have an amp and it's too loud and you don't want to use it, or you're like, oh, I want something that sounds better than, a crappy little 15-watt starter amp, whatever you think. What you're seeing now, this is my starter guitar, my very first one that I ever got, and you're seeing the Amped ML800 plugin. Now, Amped has done a lot of cool stuff as far as free amp software. So what you're seeing, I paid for this. This was the ML800. It was like, I don't know, like 15 bucks, 20 bucks. But they actually offer a free version as well. The Amped Roots amp comes completely free with the Amped package. You can just go download it right now. I'll link that in the description too. But just listen to this. I apologize, by the way, for the poor audio quality, but this is just what I have right now due to the limitations of my recording software and all of that. Just listen to how this sounds. It sounds pretty remarkable, and what's cool about it, it's fully adjustable. Like, look at this. I'll show you guys right now. Just having this up, you can actually, you have your input that controls like the input volume, presence, bass, middle, treble, master, and then the preamp, which would be like the gain, the output level, and all that kind of stuff. It's super cool, and you can actually switch between the high and low, which the low is a much more, laid back. It's meant to do better cleans, obviously, but obviously we're interested in the high gain here. And this just sounds awesome. Pretty cool, but not only does it come with that, it has a pedal board built in, and this pedal board has a noise gate, it has a drive, I wonder what the drive will sound like, reverb, and delay. Let's try all of them. So the noise gate makes it so it doesn't make any hum or noise while you're just sitting here. that sounds awesome. And all I had to do was click on it. You know, you have to click on it, you hit options, and you jump right into it. But this is such a cool amp sim. I absolutely love it. And having that pedal board built in is so nice, and having, like, all I did is I plugged my guitar into my audio interface. So my audio interface, I think, was about, I don't know, say $150 give or take. Now that sounds scary, but I think there's a single input. I have 2 input interface. I think you can get a single input Behringer interface for gotta be under $100. It'd have to be maybe like $70 or something like that. And if you're looking at buying an amp versus buying something like this, buy an audio interface, and now you have, you know, access to these digital amp sims. You know, the Amped Roots is the free one. But the ML800 is meant to model a JCM 800 Marshall, and it sounds so good, you know? It's a really great sounding plugin. I absolutely love it, and it's a nice way to also, I can turn down this volume. I can turn it down, I can have it be just about whatever. So I'm actually gonna put, I'm gonna try to put my mic here right next to my speaker, and I'm gonna give you guys the best picture I can of what this sounds like. So you can turn this to any volume and it will record, and it will come out really nice. So here's my little demo. So, we're gonna talk about being unique and what that means. This is gonna be a fun topic, I'm excited. So basically, when you think of, I always think of this in the lens of a guitar player. So for me, I think of people like Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, both of the Jimmys, but also, you know, people like Slash, people like, even way back in the day, you have people like Pete Townsend, you have just all kinds of legends, Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King, all these guitar legends that people, Chuck Berry, people look back on these people and think, wow, Van Halen, on my wall, you know, even like Alex Lifeson is a personal hero of mine from Rush. And it's so easy to get caught up in thinking, oh man, I want to sound like them. I want to be like them, I want to sound like them, I want that to be how I am viewed and how I sound. Now, I'm gonna break it to you right now, that's never gonna happen. Never, not in a million years. And don't take that as a statement of like, aw, like I'll never be that good. You will, you can and will if you put in that time. But they didn't become as great as they were by trying to sound just like someone else. You know, that's a tough thing to kind of think about, get your head around. Because when you are learning guitar especially, you're looking up to these people. Like, I look up to the sounds of Alex Lifeson and Jimmy Page and all these guitarists. But at the same time, I also have come to a realization that I also have to try to find my own sound. And I've really noticed that since I've been trying to record my own album. It's difficult to try to be okay sounding different because people think, oh, your tone sucks, your tone doesn't sound good, or you don't sound good, or this or that. Now, realistically, and this is the hardest part, it's not up to anybody but you what you sound like. And if you find a cool sound that you're like, wow, this is really bizarre and I love it, stick with it. If every other guitar player in the world says, hey, your tone sucks, bro, it's like, well, that's fine. Deal with it. You know, music is about expression, it's about self-expression, and it's about just doing things that you love. And so that's why for me, when I've been working on making music or doing things for the show, it's been a very easy thing. Like I even did a segment in an episode where I was chasing a tone, and that was one of my segments, which is cool, and it's fun to find similar tones to people, and it's fun to learn licks and like borrow things from people, but no one should devote their entire guitar being or drum being or piano being or vocal being to trying to sound exactly like someone else. Like, if I'm a big Jimi Hendrix fan, I might take a lot of Jimi Hendrix licks and techniques and ideas and tendencies, but there's no reason I should try to sound exactly like Jimi Hendrix, because I do not have those hands. I don't have that feel. I'm a different person, and so I'm never gonna sound just like Jimi Hendrix. But who I am gonna sound like and who I can be the best at is when I am me. When I think, what do I sound like? Well, that's something I can improve upon, because it's all up to me. It's up to my own ideas and my own eyes and what gear I have access to and, the music I want to make with it. The other thing is just experiment. Next time you sit down with your drums, tune them to something different. Next time you sit down with your amp, dial it up in a different way. If you usually play with the treble and bass rolled off and the mids scooped up, then try it the other way. Roll back the mids and go treble and bass higher, things like that. Just change things up, try new effects, get a new pedal, get some bizarre something, If you're a vocalist, try singing out of your range a little bit. Try to stay away from your tendencies, There's all kinds of ways to try to break out of what you normally do and getting out of ruts and stuff. And that is the sort of thing that when you push yourself under new circumstances, that's when you improve as a musician and further develop your own sound. I'm like, the first time Jimmy Page decided to play the guitar with a violin bow, I certainly don't think he was thinking, yep, I'm doing this because I saw someone else do it, super famously. People, Jimi Hendrix, when he played the guitar with his teeth, things like that, that's unique, and that was more of a showmanship thing. But at the same time, it's all about paving that way for yourself and creating new ideas, new concepts, all of that stuff. So this segment is meant to just be a short one, but I really wanted to put something out there and talk to you guys about how I feel on the concept of being unique and how important it is. Because if all music sounded similar, if everyone tried to be AC/DC, if everyone tried to be Metallica, that would devalue you, That would devalue you as a musician if you are dedicating your being into trying to sound like this one specific thing. So if you make your music and you have fun with it and nobody likes it, people laugh at you, people make fun of you, people just they make it like a meme, like that sort of thing, well, they're listening to it. And if they're getting some sort of enjoyment out of it, even if it's directed at you, if you had fun making it, good, You made it because you wanted to make it. That's the best way you can view it. Nobody, if you're making music for the sole purpose of, I want to get rich and famous, you're making music for the wrong reason. Find something you hold near and dear to your heart, do it to your heart's content, and there is going to be an audience out there somewhere. So just a matter of the music finding them. So with that being said, let's move on to how I record drums in a dorm room. And welcome to how to record drums in a dorm room. So what I have here, this is the Pile PTED 06. You may be thinking, wow, I've never heard of that before, and you'd be right, because it just seems to be one of those pieces of gear that not a lot of people really see mainstream, at least to the best of my knowledge. But basically what it is a 7-pad little drum system with 2 pedals, and you can program it to sound like whatever. It's got a big sound bank of stuff. You can do even everything to like hand percussion, like that kind of thing. But yeah, you can assign user-made kits, all that kind of stuff. So right now what I have this one rigged up as is a double kick. That kind of thing. So basically, we're not going to use any of that. I already did a review a long time ago. I should do an updated review on this. A long time ago, back when I first started my channel, I got a very popular video that reviewed the Pyle PTE-D06. So if any of you guys are here and want an updated review from an older, more experienced, better quality production version of me, then let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to make that. And also subscribe if you're here for the Pyle PTE-D06, and you are not subscribed. I'd appreciate it very much. But anyway, what we're doing is, as you can see here also in the corner of your screen, I have Reaper pulled up. And so what we're going to do is we are going to actually turn down the volume all the way on the Pyle PTE-D06. We're going to turn the Pyle's volume all the way down so it doesn't make any noise. And we actually have this currently hooked up via USB to my computer. As far as driver installation goes, you can check the Pyle website. I don't think you need driver installation. I think it should just recognize it as a MIDI device. So then all we're going to do here is we are going to go, I will leave a link in the description below for the certain plugin that I'm using here, but this is a free and easy drum plugin that we are going to use. Let's see here. I'm going to open it with... We're going to make a track in Reaper. You can label it if you want. Otherwise, we're just going to do record armed. I'm going to turn that off for now while I change it to a MIDI input. E-drum, all channels. And I guess I also want to make sure that if you're not seeing that once you've plugged in the Pyle, I don't know if you can see this here when I bring this up, but when I click on the effects, it brings a drop-down menu where it can say input MIDI, and then if you hover over input MIDI, you should see E-drum. If you don't see E-drum, you're gonna go Control P on Reaper, which will bring up preferences, and I'm gonna make sure you're able to see that. Okay, so this is the preferences, or basically the settings for Reaper that'll pop up and kind of show you what's going on. So what we're gonna do here is we are going to make sure that we go on the left when we click MIDI devices. There should be under device over here, MIDI inputs, E-drum will be here. And you have to make sure that this says enabled. And as long as that says enabled, it should be able to make sure you're able to see the MIDI devices, or it should be able to recognize your Pyle drum set as an E-drum MIDI input device. So let's make sure that that's all right. And so yeah, now that it's hooked up like I did before, right now it shouldn't make any noise. It'll receive input, but it's not going to do any output. So make sure that you have this little red recording button pressed on, and then make sure this little speaker is record monitoring on. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to go to effects, and that'll bring up the effects tab, if you will, and that'll bring up a whole list of plugins. I'm not gonna show that right now, but I'll show you once I click on the one I'm looking for. You just search it up or go to your recently used, and there should be one labeled the MT Power Drum Kit from Manda Audio. So you're gonna double click on that, and that's gonna bring up the plugin. Okay, so for some reason it's not allowing me to bring up the visual image of what the plugin actually looks like, but basically I will put a provided image up of what you get on your screen. So as you can see here, it is a free plugin, but developing it takes a lot of stuff, so if you find it really useful, consider making a donation. So you can donate here, or if you don't want to donate to the plugin, you can click skip. We'll move on from there. So now we have this drum set. When you click on the different various parts of this drum kit, you get the corresponding sounds. So what you've gotten by taking this drum set plugin and attaching it to this channel here that you got with your, MIDI drum all hooked up, it has automatically translated the MIDI inputs or the pads from the drum kit to be touch sensitive and controlled to this MT Power Drum Kit. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna record a quick drum track so you guys can hear it for real and what it's actually meant to sound like. And wouldn't you know, we have come once again to another end of the episode. Thank you guys all so much for sticking around until the end. I appreciate it. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Or if you didn't like it, press the thumbs down. Be honest. I mean it. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you to my lovely patrons. As always, I love you guys so much. We have Tristan, Morgan, Sandy, Gina, and Julie. Thank you guys all so much. Appreciate it. You guys are the best. You guys make cool things happen all the time. And once again, I just want to make a little teaser to my Patreon. My patrons get videos more frequently, not big scale ones like this, but all kinds of behind the scenes content, backstage stuff, if you will. Super fun and super cool to interact with the patrons. So if you want to help support the show and help move it forward, please consider heading on over. It means the world to me and helps me move forward with cool projects like what I'm starting to cook up this summer. So stay tuned for that, or if you want to hear updates on that, head on over to patreon.com/RiffJaw and you can get in on that and hear about all of the updates and stuff with how I'm moving the channel forward. Thank you guys so much again. I hope you guys learned something, or I hope I inspired you in some way. And with that being said, I will see you guys at the podcast next week. See ya.